I'm Attorney John Cannon, your fierce advocate for families and freedom. Today I'm going to be speaking to the issue of military divorce, and more specifically the issue of military protective orders and the impact they may have on your divorce case. First and foremost, what is a military protective order? As we discussed in other videos, the military has comparable procedures and sources available to the civilian legal world. So in the military protective order sense, a commander receives information of the allegation, which that may be all that it is, of a threat of harm or previous harm that took place, harassment, stalking, the factors that we find in victim protective orders, and that commander elects to issue a military protective order, at least for the time being, separating and hopefully protecting both individuals from future conduct. Now that we discussed what a military protective order is, I'd like to talk to you about what protections it can provide. A military protective order can prohibit a service member from going into contact with the specific person that is the complainant on that protective order. It also can ensure that that protective order limits the locations that the service member can go to, and it also can limit what they can and can't do while on the installation. Next, I'd like to speak to you about who can be the subject or parties in a military protective order. As we discussed previously, this is an order entered by a commander against a service member, so it can only be against the service member as a defendant in the military protective order. The only petitioner can be a spouse, a former spouse, an intimate partner, or a previous intimate partner. The fifth and common thing that you see in victim protective orders in state court is not available. It cannot be a friend, a colleague, or a family member. It must be either a current or former intimate partner or spouse. Next, I'd like to speak to you about how military protective orders are issued and also how they are terminated. A military protective order is issued by a commander against a service member, and they have the discretion to decide whether they think it is appropriate or not. Military protective orders are also terminated by the commander. And if you are to transfer to another unit, then the new commander will be the one required to enter a subsequent or a new military protective order. Another common question we receive is how long do military protective orders last? And the answer is basically as long as the commander makes them last. In often case, the military protective order will only last 10 days. However, that is not always true. Oftentimes, the commanders will have them in place for longer to ensure or give the opportunity to the complainant to seek a victim protective order in district court. Another common question received is how are military protective orders enforced? Well, again, the military only has authority over what the military has authority over. So a military protective order is not enforceable outside of base when someone is not on military orders or against someone that is not a service member. Therefore, if you are the complainant in a military protective order, it is important that you reach out to the district court where you live and seek a victim protective order that has broader authority from the district court than the authority on that installation itself. We often receive the question of what are the consequences of violation of a military protective order? And again, this falls under the commander's authority. So for failing to abide by a lawful order, you may be subjected to non-judicial punishment, administrative action, or dependent on the frequency or the seriousness of the violation, you may face uniform code of military justice action against you. We hope this video has been informative to you on how military protective orders work and their impact on your divorce. It is so important that if you are seeking a military protective order or the respondent to a military protective order, that you seek competent counsel to help you through the process of either facing or contesting one of these orders or seeking or contesting a district court violation of protective order in your military divorce case. If you have more questions about military divorce, victim, or military protective orders, we encourage you to visit our website or to subscribe to this channel for more resources.